come up. And I'm going to go ahead and introduce them so you know who's going to be coming up, and then I'll have a few comments to wrap things up. The first speaker this evening is going to be Jim Light. Jim Light heads up Leading Age Indiana.
Would you like this
He's
chair?
president of that organization. That is the formal organization that was called IASA. And this is the organization that represents Swiss Village, provides support for Swiss Village, provides support for units throughout Indiana, like Swiss Village, and has had a very good reputation. The second speaker is going to be Jeff Baxter. Jeff Baxter is president of Friends Fellowship Community, and glad that he was willing to make the drive up here this evening. Your third speaker is going to be Rick Stiffney. Rick Stiffney is somebody I've gotten to know very well at conferences and other organizations. They have helped us in numerous ways. Rick is the president of that organization, Mennonite Health Assembly, and he drove down from northern Indiana, so we appreciate you making the drive down here. The third speaker, for those of us that are local here, will not be, the fourth speaker will not be a stranger to any of us. That's Mr. Matt Lehman. Matt Lehman is our state representative from our local area. Was also on the board of directors for Swiss Village for 10 years. Did a great job of serving in that role as well. So we do thank you for Matt being here, and has always been a good resource for Swiss Village when we've needed to make a contact down the state on a political, or just make contacts with representatives down there as well. So at this point in time, I'm going to turn it over to Jim.
Well, thank you very much. It's a real honor for me to be here. I've been with the association since 1995, and Daryl was the one that called me and said, "You get the job." That was my first introduction to Daryl Martin. He was part of the team that recruited the executive for the association, and Swiss Village has been a founding member of the association and an important part of this group of nonprofits throughout the state. Most of them church-based, mission-driven organizations like Swiss Village. And one of the first things I did as the new head of the association was come up and visit some of the board members. And Swiss Village was one of my first spots. And I tell you, I was so impressed. Daryl was taking me around for the tour of the building. And this is, as you know, a large facility with a lot of staff and a lot of residents. Every person he saw, he knew them well. He knew their name, he knew their stories, the staff, the residents. That really impressed me and said a lot about Daryl, and over the years I've come to know that exemplifies who Daryl Martin is. His commitment and passion is something we'll greatly miss, but I think he's done so much for the association as well as for Swiss Village. So it's my honor to be here to recognize Daryl's tremendous contributions to long-term care and nonprofit world across Indiana, as well as the Swiss Village, and wish him all the very best in retirement. I've already heard about some of your travel plans. I know you're going to have a good time. And please keep in touch. We'll look forward to seeing you again. Thank you. Oh, and I'm going to introduce Jeff. Now, back before Daryl had a beard, we used to always say, "This is Daryl, and this is his other brother, Daryl." On the TV show, because they look so much alike and often had the same suits on. So, Jeff, come up, the other brother, Daryl.
It's an honor for me to be here as well. What a special evening, and what a special friend we're here to recognize. Those of you who live in Bern, or who are from Bern, I want to assure you that Daryl takes every opportunity when he's with his friends to let us know that Bern is the center of the universe. Not all of us can live in Bern, but it's nice to spend an evening in the center of the universe. You know, as Jim said, I've always felt a special kinship with Daryl, much like a brother. And folks over the years have teased us about being brothers, and apparently have seen some resemblance. I'm sorry, Daryl. In fact, it got to the point when I would go to meetings and conferences that people would greet me as Daryl so often that I just started answering to the name. Over the years, I think As Daryl started wearing glasses, he was always the academic one in the family growing up, and the beard, he's the sophisticate, and Daryl, unlike me, has kept his youthful physique, so folks are able to tell us apart a little bit more. I'm actually here representing the Samaritan Alliance and speaking on behalf of Samaritan Alliance members. Over 16 years ago, a dozen member organizations, actually members of IASA at the time, got together and formed the Samaritan Alliance for the purpose of identifying and promoting products, services, and educational programs for our members. And Daryl has been very involved from the beginning. In fact, we were talking a little bit earlier. Daryl was a part of a very small but a very hard-working search committee that identified and hired our executive, our president, Art Moynihan, and that was a great piece of work and a great decision and has served us well over the years. I want to share a few of the stated core values of the Samaritan Alliance, because I think Daryl, more than anyone I know, exemplifies these core values. And these are actually in our governance documents. And I think those of you who have worked with Daryl and known him over the years will agree that Daryl is representative of the Samaritan Alliance core values: collaboration, prudent and ethical practices, competent and deliberate decision-making, openness to change, honest, peer interaction, support, trust, and fellowship, and advocacy for our residents in our communities. And I think of Daryl most of all as an advocate for the residents of Swiss Village and certainly residents around the state. Again, no one lives out these core values like Daryl. Daryl was one of the first people I met outside of my own facility when I came to Friends Fellowship 31 years ago. And one of the things that I've always been impressed by in the not-for-profit sector, the state association, is folks' willingness to share and collaborate and support each other. And again, I don't know of anyone who does that better than Daryl. I know that you folks here at Swiss Village know how much he has meant to this place. I don't need to tell you that. I know others will speak to that. But I want you to know as well how much Daryl has meant to those of us around the state as a supporter, as a resource, and really around the country as well. Daryl, I treasure the opportunities that I've had to collaborate with you and to learn from you. On behalf of our colleagues, I want to thank you for the gifts that you have given to us. We will miss the fellowship and camaraderie with you. We'll certainly miss your wit and your wisdom, and we'll always treasure your friendship. And we wish you and Karen the very best at this wonderful time in your lives. Thank you. And I love the book that the kids put together out front. And Daryl, I'm looking forward to coming up and playing in the sprinkler with you.
And I'm not Daryl. My name is Rick Stiffney, as Kent mentioned, and I'm president of Mennonite Health Services. We're a national network of 75 Anabaptist-affiliated ministries across the country, and Swiss Village is one of the important members of our national network. I've known you, Daryl, for many, many, many years. I had I would consider it the sacred trust of actually interacting with Daryl and the board as Daryl began to think about the endings here at Swiss Village. And I would only observe that those are very important personal and spiritual times for executives, and it was a real honor to be allowed to be part of those conversations. So thank you, Daryl, and thank you, Kent, and the board. Now I want to remind you of a story. It's an Aesop's fable, most of us will recall it. It's the story of the tortoise and the hare. And they were in a race, and who won the race? The tortoise won the race. You know, I'm often asked around the country about the styles and the approaches of executives in their leadership. Now, I'll bet if we were putting together a list of descriptors, let's just describe Daryl Martin as an executive, we would come up with words like steady, thoughtful, even-tempered, methodical, reflective, patient. We would not come up with a list of words like reactive, emotive, fast-paced. You hear where I'm going. Daryl's been more of a tortoise executive. And you know, the tortoise wins the race. The tortoise wins the race. I'm also reminded, Daryl, of the Apostle Paul and his admonition to the church in Philippi when Paul said, press on, persevere, run the race for the prize in Christ Jesus. And I think, Daryl, you've pressed on and persevered and run a great race. And I really would hope now in this next season that for a moment you rest. And then I think you and Karen will be called to other wonderful dimensions of ministry and service. So on behalf of the MHS Network, our executives, those institutions, and the larger church, thank you for living for us effectiveness and faithfulness in your leadership. Blessings to you.
Well, thank you very much. It is really an honor to be here tonight to recognize Daryl. And I'm not sure why Margie felt the need to remind me multiple times to be brief. But I will be very brief. Several years ago, I've known Daryl for many, many years, but several years ago, after a Rotary Club lunch, Daryl came up to me and said, would you have interest in serving on the board at Swiss Village? And 10 years after that, I finished my 10 years, I looked back and thought, what an honor it really was, not only to serve with Daryl, but the other board members I had the privilege of serving with. But I've served on a lot of boards in a lot of capacity, and the one thing I always say is, Daryl, we may not have agreed on every issue, but you were always honest, and I could always talk to you, and I really feel like, Daryl, you were an excellent director here, and my 10 years on the board will be very much cherished through my life. Really the reason I'm here tonight is the only knock I think I have against Daryl is he's not a Hoosier. Okay, I mean, and I know you're from Pennsylvania and you've got great Anabaptist roots, but Daryl, I'm sorry, you're not a Hoosier. So I thought to myself, what possibly on your departure could I do my little part? And my little part is this: if you and Karen would come up here for a moment. There's no initiation or not gonna dump cold ice water on your head or anything like that. But I'll tell you what, if you just want to kind of stand over there, maybe by Rick a little bit there. It really is an honor and privilege of mine tonight to present to Daryl and Karen on behalf of the state of Indiana and Governor Mike Pence to declare tonight that Daryl Martin is an honorary Hoosier. So Daryl, welcome to the club. And, Kent, I'll turn it over to you.
I think what you're going to find is my comments are going to reiterate what these first four speakers spoke to you about, because it truly has been an honor for me, for our board, for our community to have Daryl serve in a leadership role here at Swiss Village. As I thought about my comments for this evening, last Saturday night I was at an event at the Clock Tower. And those that aren't from Bern, that don't realize this is the center of the universe, we also like to call it the Garden of Eden. On the Clock Tower itself, there are 8 panels, and they call those 8 value panels on the side of that clock tower. And as I looked at that clock tower, I thought, you know what? As I read these different values, these values define Daryl Martin. So I want to run through what these values are if you don't know what they are on the clock tower. And the first one I saw was courage. And when you think about courage, Daryl's courage to make some tough decisions. And there have been tough decisions in his 36 years here at Swiss Village that he's had to make in the face of sometimes adversity and difficult situations. The next value is faith. Many of us know Daryl's faith and his reliance upon God and the way he makes God-based decisions and the way he utilizes faith in God to guide and direct the decisions of our organization. Hope. Hope for the future. Hope for the future of our organization during his leadership tenure. Hope for the future of our organization. Even in the meeting I was at this morning, he had hope for the future of Swiss Village and where we are going to be 5, 10, 15, or 20 years down the road, and how we can improve the life and the quality of life for the residents of Swiss Village. The next value is vision. Vision. Having a vision and being able to see into the future of where we want this organization to be, particularly at times when it wasn't always clear what direction we needed to go during construction project, expansion plans, or new services we were providing. The next value is integrity. Daryl's integrity. Integrity means you make the right decision even when the right decision is sometimes tough to do. You have a moral compass. You're motivated to do the right thing. And he did the right thing with people within the organization here, whether it was staff, whether it was residents, whether it was the State Board of Health who visited you in the past week, and also people within the community. The next value is hard work. And hard work defines Daryl. Willingness to put in long hours. Obviously time away from his wife, from his kids. He was committed to this organization, willing to put in those long hours needed to make this a very successful organization. Heritage. The heritage value is very important for Swiss Village. Since 1968, this organization has had a heritage for high quality of service to the residents, improving their quality of life. Daryl has enhanced that heritage. And he's doing a great job of making sure that heritage continues into the future. Commitment. The commitment value is demonstrated. He's demonstrated that to his wife, to his children, to this organization. He's shown us how to be a leader. I happened to be at a luncheon this noon where Paul Zerker from Zerker Tire was talking about, and Paul Zerker mentioned he learned a lot about leadership from Daryl Martin. And I think we all would agree to that. Those of us that have served with him in capacity or have had an opportunity to interact with him. He's shown us how to be a leader. So as we review these 8 values, I'll read through them again. Courage, faith, hope, vision, integrity, hard work, heritage, and commitment. That defines Daryl's 36 years of service. I'm glad I had the opportunity to participate with him. I look at Daryl not only as a person that I worked with at Swiss Village, I look with him as a friend. Spent some time running through airports trying to catch airplanes with Daryl, but he showed us how to be a servant leader, and that's what the footprints you leave here at Swiss Village, Daryl. So I appreciate that. We've got a gift for you, Daryl, if you want to pop up here. And I think I can speak for everyone in the room when we just say thank you. We do want to give Daryl the opportunity here to say a few words. Except for you, Margie has not told you how long you can talk. You can talk as long as you want.
So I stand there and I sit here and I know I'm not dreaming because I know this day was planned, but I have to wonder if I am dreaming. I've been blessed, and I can only say thank you. Thank you for the peers that I've been able to work with, the board. If there's a better board, I don't know where you would find them. The leadership teams that I've been able to work alongside of, the staff, the donors and supporters of Swiss Village who have stepped up. It's because Kent mentioned Paul. Paul talked to Rotary at lunchtime today, and one of the points that he made is it takes a team. It takes a team. And I know that. And I just want to say thank you to everyone. The journey has been a blessing for me because of you and because of those people that I got to serve alongside of. I do believe in Swiss Village. The organization, the culture of Swiss Village, the desire to do things right. I was able to bring my heart and brain every day, and that's something I'm thankful for. Not everybody can do that. So as we go into the future, I will always be a supporter of Swiss Village. And again, thanks to all of you who helped journey my 36 years, whether here at Swiss Village, at the state level, and sometimes on the national level. Thank you very much. And I'm blessed. Thank you. I'm not sure where Matt got to, but I want Matt to know that I worked very hard at being a good Hoosier. I started rooting for IU in 1978 when I came. And so I think I've earned that. And Jeff, Jeff, many people for years confused us as brothers. What made the difference is I didn't age as well as him, so I had to start putting glasses on. But the fact is, life hasn't always been easy for me, and I wanted people to know it. So, again, thank you.
Well, thank you everyone for your attendance. This is not the end of the evening. You can feel free to stay as long as you would like, but I know Daryl and family do appreciate the attendance, and Daryl, once again, thank you for all you've done for us. Thank you.
Yeah.
You? Hanging in there. Thank you. Yeah, I know. Hanging in there.
Excuse me 1 second.
What are you going to do? Take that back and use it somewhere else?
I can't give this again.
Yeah, there's no takebacks. There's no takebacks. Just let me hold it up. Let me get a shot of it.
This was so nice. Yeah, Cindy would have been here, but she went back up with the mom.
There we go.
Back in the hospital.
Thank you.
Oh, I see.
Back from. They had some back surgery. Thanks for asking.
Start reaping the Hooters.
Thank you. Friendship.
Oh, this was so good. And so true. And you know what?
I don't know. Thank you.
Karen, are you ready for full-time Daryl at home?
I think so. I'm not sure. I've got a long list.
Okay, he's got a big honeydew list.
Yes,
Okay,
he's got a honeydew list.
there you go.